live from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop, and the craziness never stops. I was gonna not make a video today. I actually had a video planned for today. It's already uploaded, ready to go. I was good. I was golden, right? I was going to take a bit of a day off, right? I was looking at my son is coming home from the army. He just went into the army, was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. He just went in the army. So it's a big thing in Israel. Like, they come home, they're wearing their uniform, they're all tired. Basically, when the kids come home, they sleep non-stop and they eat a lot, right? That's what's going. Well, it's kind of exciting, right? So I had that planned, you know. I had a few things I was going to do, and then I got just a bunch of stuff, right? Just a bunch of stuff landed on my plate. I guess we got to deal with it, right? I guess we got to do. Well, what other choice do we have? Like, share, subscribe, comment. I guess the video I was planning for today, I can't remember what it was. It was quite a good one, as I recall. Let me look it up. It was, it was going over the Armando Iannucci. What's the guy's name? The guy who wrote The Thick of It. Well, yeah, I'll show you the thumbnail. Why not? I'll put this over here a little bit. It's go doink. This is the one that was going to come today. Doctor Who and the Straw Man Argument of Doom. Think of it in Veep writer Armando Iannucci, who I love his work, right? Absolutely adore his work. Wrote this really stupid article on Radio Times. I thought I was going to do a bunch of articles, right, in that video. I got so caught up in that took, I finished it about 45 minutes in, I guess I'm not doing another one, right? So, again, I was just going to put my feet up and say, no, because the bonkersness that is Doctor Who never stops. And I got rumours, I got news, all kinds of stuff to talk about. Before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things are, you guessed it, baby, you guessed it. Fan-dabby double dozy. Thank you very much. Somebody sent me a great drawing of me and the Crankies. I really love that. The Crankies, if you do not know, are a really bizarre comedy act, children's comedy act, which weirdly enough, they're from the 70s and 80s, and I don't think they were paedophiles, right? Maybe turns out every British comedy or light entertainment thing seems to be to do with paedophiles. Like, Rolf Harris, what's the guy? Jim will fix it, obviously. Jimmy Savile, just all of them, right? They're all so into paedophilia. I don't know if they were, because it was a husband and wife team, and the wife played Wee Jimmy Cranky, the naughty little schoolboy, Wee Jimmy Cranky, and every time I was watching it, my dad would walk in the room and go, bloody hell, she takes a lot of fancy in that woman. Which means he wasn't that interested in having sexual congress with her. Thank you, Dad, for letting me know that. That gives you a little bit insight into my my diseased mind. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things are very good. Thank you very much. Sign up my Substack, my email newsletter, where you find out about all my sparkling content, which is always flying out. She cried. That's if I ever get banned from YouTube, which I'm sure I'm going to. Oh my God! I did a live stream last night, right? I woke up this morning, banned everywhere, right? Blocked everywhere. Why? Because I did a trailer reaction with Dan Hadley from the Spacebook, a great channel. I did a trailer reaction to Wednesday, the Addams Family, Tim Burton Addams Family thing they're doing. And it was a good I was positive about it. I was being nice. And they're like, nah, screw you. Like, well, wait a minute, you're Netflix. You own that in the entire world. Why are you blocked? I don't know. I don't understand. Who knows audacity? I guess they must be getting a lot of flack for it. Essentially, the guy playing Gomez is a bit more swarthy than the Gomez that we've seen before, but it kind of looks like the Charles Addams drawing. So I don't know. To me, Gomez Addams, it isn't John Ashton. He's forever Raul Julia from the what's the movie? Addams Family. Yeah, Addams Family Values. Love those freaking movies. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack. All those things are very, very good. Let's talk about the first story. So let's look at this picture here. Again, this is a bizarro story. It's a rumor. I don't really put much stock in, quite frankly, but it's a fun, interesting rumor. So, we keep seeing things like this. We keep seeing things like, well, Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who hasn't gone down that well, right? Has not gone down that well at all. And the BBC keeps saying, no, it's the bestest thing ever, right? We are so freaking happy with it. I had a lengthy conversation this week with somebody inside the production, like somebody you would look not famous, but Doctor Who famous, right? You would know of them if you're a Doctor Who fan, and it was really bizarre because they were kind of confirming just a lot of things. But I've always suspected that it's not going down very well, right? Yeah, the ratings are in fact accurate, and but the BBC have always said it's the best ever, along with all the just about all the creative talent around it, right? Which I always found confusing, right? I understand being professional, and I really loved when in 2005 when Doctor Who was coming back. It it had a program on just before it started, hosted by Russell D Davies, going over all the different eras of Doctor Who, and he was very complimentary to all of them, right? And there was some bad Doctor Who in there, right? But it always spoke very positively, and that's like a real central thing in Jewish law: speaking positively about people, or not speaking negatively. More importantly, I'm not very good at that. But yeah, not speaking, not having negative thought, negative speech, right? So I always like them. So yeah, I understand the professionalism of somebody like Colin Baker or Christopher Eccleston when they go, "Oh, Jordan is the best ever," because it's basically what I was talking about in that article about the guy who wrote Veep and the thick of it, because they've been sold this utter nonsense that the reason it's received online criticism is purely because of the casting, right? Because Shooty's black and because Jodie's a woman. Shooty, I don't think has received much online criticism, quite frankly. I think there's like a small percentage of people who are not happy with this casting. Most of them quite happy to watch my channel, right? I don't think they're racist at all. I think they just say the character's been this way all the way through. It's a weird change to go for it right now. But we've always seen this, them saying these things. How long is it? And before that, they look around at the devastation that this tribalism, which is why they're saying she's the best ever. It's only ever tribalism, right? Because it a weird, and it is so weird when you say it out, right? If you said you didn't like Jodie Whittaker, you are kind of like de facto saying that you like Donald Trump and Brexit. Right, there's that, and I know that sounds insane, right? When you say that and you say it out, it sounds completely bonkers. But that, because we're so tribal and everything is along tribal lines, if you don't like one thing, you're trapped with it. Now, as it happens, I did quite like Donald Trump. I like the money. I like the world peace. Those things worked out pretty well for me. I don't know much about Brexit. All I really know about it is everybody who was opposed to it, I think, is wrong about everything, and has been wrong about everything a lot of the time. I can't go into the specific criticisms of it, but I know the people who were against it genuinely feel it was, even in the aftermath, it was a disaster. I don't really think that you got Brexit, to be honest with you, what was being sold at all. And I think it was possible. I just don't think there was a strong enough will there to push it through. Anyway, I digress. What does that have to do with this? So we got Philip Hinchcliffe over there having a great time on set with Chris Chibnall. Now, Philip Hinchcliffe oversaw probably one of the most popular eras of Doctor Who. What's one of the most successful, one of the most beloved. And Chris Chibnall, somewhat the opposite. So I understand. I feel bad about Chris Chibnall, to be honest with you, because it's very easy to dehumanize him and go, he destroyed Doctor, and he did, right? He did. But he's still a human being, right? And it's got to, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how this has affected his career. We haven't seen him get a new job yet. We haven't seen him book anything yet. So I do not know. So something interesting came across my desk this morning. Somebody sent me this from Twitter. And to me, it sounds like bollocks, right? It sounds like too unprofessional to be real. But then, maybe. Let's have a look. So this is by Eddie. Eddie Eddie and me do not have a good background. In all fair, if it's the same Eddie, I have no idea. We got this little group in fandom that thinks they're huge and really like Jodie Whittaker and really didn't like anybody criticizing Jodie Whittaker. So one time they went on a spree calling me calling me a paedophile, like online, like they dogpiled me, bunches of them. It was really weird, right? Because I did this. I'm on the wrong slide. It's because I did. Is this the first one? No, this is the first slide. So, so what? Yeah, what? Basically, because I was going through the TARDIS companions in what I felt was a somewhat comedic bit. Go through who I had the best chances of getting into bed. Now, I want to be clear. I'm married, and the only person I touch is my wife. I mean, genuinely, right? I'm a Bible thumping religious. That doesn't really say anything. Yeah, you get so many perverts who are like in the clergy. None that I know personally, but you know, we hear all those stories. So that doesn't like bar me from sin, but like it was based on nothing. I was going through all the people in the all the companions. I thought I had a comedic chance of getting into bed, and I got up to Victoria. And it still makes me laugh. Which is why I got in trouble. I got up to Victoria, and oh yeah, she's always screaming. She's got post-traumatic stress disorder. I could use that. Now that was a joke, right? That was a joke. But the sickos on Twitter, they did this thing which anti-Semites do a lot, which is accuse Jews of fiddling with their women, with their children, right? So I let it go for a couple of days, then I started pointing it out, and they freaked out. Anyway, so this Eddie bloke who had. I know, he had the axe to grind against me, jumped in on that, right? And sort of disingenuously added fuel to that fire. So I think he's been a bit of a dick ever since. Now, I want to be clear. I think everybody can be redeemed. If anybody wants to come and say sorry, they can say sorry. I think that's a basic. Yeah, I think you've got to be a real dick not to accept that. But I think it's a bit weird. But I think it's a bit weird to expect to forget about it without an apology. But again, look, honestly, I'm somewhat in the minority about that. But and to my detriment, right? I really should just let things go. But anyway, so I just want to be clear about that backstory. So this was said to me. He's saying, so Peter for sure. So an ongoing rumor that we've had is that doctors. 5, 6, 7, possibly 8, 9, a bunch of doctors are going to be in the Centenary special. And I kept saying to myself, that doesn't sound likely, right? And then we got this story about a week or so ago saying that they're going to pay tribute to past doctors by having Jodie put on bits of their clothes. I mean, something that pretty much every doctor has done when they regenerate. It's not particularly innovative. So I believe that. I believe that because it's so banal and so boring. It sounds like Chris Chibnall, right? It sounds like the sort of TV that he writes. Very banal, very, very, very boring. So that sounded reasonable to me. So, but anyway, so this comes from the other point of view, saying no, they are all in it. I always wonder how. How did they get them in there? How did he get Philip Hinchcliffe on set? The man who said Doctor Who is the show that finds you out, right? How did he do that with all smiles? It seems like, really, it seems very, very strange. So this kind of opens up, this kind of shines a little bit of light on the answer. So he says, so Peter for sure films something for Centenary. Apparently, all the classic stars were kind of told the Centenary was the 60th. As at the time, Chibnall and Stevens were unsure there would ever be one. Well, that actually sounds fair, right? Because they didn't know until like a day or two before he announced that Rusty Davis was coming back. Production had wrapped. They thought they killed Doctor Who. They said that over and over again, right? They would just relieve Rusty Davis taking over because they thought they killed Doctor Who, right? And they would still be in denial. Right? They said, oh, it just ran its time. It wasn't anything to do with us. No, it's everything to do with you, right? Everything to do with you. Boy, do we need a David Zaslav, right? Who's so busy putting a red pen through everything at Warner Brothers. Oh, please, cancel all that garbage. But bring back Saved by Wolves. I like Saved by Wolves. So they were told us in it, as at the time they were unsure there would be one. When they found out there was not going to be one, but it was going to be have multiple episodes, and it was going to be written by Russell Davis, who then wouldn't highlight the old stars because they were in this mess. There were a few harsh words. So do you think that happened? Right? Do you think that like they said, oh look, I don't know if we're going to do a 60th, but you want to do anything, you better be in this. And you know, look, there is this McCarthyism going on in the entertainment industry. If you do not follow the party line of Jodie being the best as ever and being supportive of Jodie, your career is going to be significantly damaged, right? So, and this about that on so many things, right? If you go against the party line on anything, if you come out and say, I think generally speaking, sex isn't fluid, right? Gender isn't fluid, right? Your career is going to be significantly damaged. Your career can be significantly damaged for anything, from people having a beef with you. Look at Noel Clark, right? Noel Clark, the craze on Twitter keep going, over 20 women came out and bravely exposed him for being the sex-filled predator that he is. Where in truth it was 14. Rather than over 20. None of them really had any credible allegations, and the one leading it had a strong financial dispute going on with Noel Clark. Look, you don't want to say, oh yeah, clearly that they were throwing all women under the bus and making life harder for everybody who actually does experience some form of sexual assault, right? Oh yeah, maybe. You don't want to say that. But could well be. It seems as likely as anything to me, right? So like these allegations just crumble to nothing. But that didn't matter. It didn't matter. There was no basis for it. Look at John Barrowman, right? John Barrowman, because then at the time the Noel Clark thing blew up, then somebody wanted to go after John Barrowman, so they pulled out a clip of Noel Clark at a convention. Like, not secretly, very publicly telling the story of how John Barrowman would often get his dick out and wave it around before being gently told by the BBC, we don't do that at the BBC. Oh, only when children are involved, apparently. What's that, Sir Jimmy? Carry on. Anyway, so... it was with Camille Couture, and it was a very funny story. That's the thing. It was genuinely a funny story about how Camille Couture was in makeup. Right, she looked on her shoulder, and John Barrowman's dick was there. I mean, that's something you don't expect to find him in makeup, is it? Yeah, but it was seen to be not offensive, but you know, the scared Puritans, these children are scared Puritans because I think social media, growing up with social media and unlimited porn, may not have been the best combination in the world, right? It might have made that generation a bit funny, right? I don't know. Listen, what's wrong with the days when you had to squint at a National Geographic? That worked for me, by Ecky Thump. And also it helps sharpen up your imagination. You would have to really work hard to come up with Seven's Wolves having some kind of bukkake sexual encounter with several young ladies. Now you just Google it, it'll actually be kind of hard to imagine that for me, but now you need to imagine no more. But I think that's made this generation a little bit funny, don't you? So the basic story is, they said there's not going to be a Centenary special. You better be in this one, and then they were in that one, and Russell Davis said, well, I'm not having any connection with my doctor. You're at. That doesn't sound reasonable to me at all, right? But okay, that's the story. Where is this? Keep going. So a few harsh words, but Peter Davison apparently asked to be written out or have his role severely reduced. He was very unimpressed by being written on the hoof on the day of filming. Really? Do you think they did that? I mean, nothing would really surprise me, right? Even Fielding alluded to that, but yeah, Peter has asked to be removed, but he may not be. Okay. So the Gorman comes along and says, is that not a searing indictment of how badly the show was pummeled by Chibs? look, the searing indictment was it was over, frankly. And again, he destroyed Doctor Who. That's reasonably searing. So when he says, oh, absolutely, Peter D has been vocal in his disdain for the whole project anyway. I haven't really heard him, but I find that unlikely somewhat, because, I find it likely because Peter Davison strikes me as somebody relatively sane who speaks his mind, but unlikely that it was professional suicide to do so. Why would you do that? But didn't want not to be in it in what he thought was the 60th. So this actually holds water, right? Because he had a real beef at the 60th with Tom Baker for not being, I think, okay, I'm reading into it, I think. If you watch the somewhat excruciating program they had with, who was it? Thank Ball, Elizabeth Ball, Sarah, I don't know, some DJ about the 50th anniversary, and Peter Davis spoke about the Five-ish Doctors reboot thing he did, which was very funny, and he said, yeah, everyone was in it apart from one person who will remain nameless, and he was really obviously genuinely pissed off there. And the one person in it wasn't in it was Tom Baker. So I can't imagine Tom Baker going, well, what, I'm going to be in the real one. Why would I be in that? I don't understand. I mean, I could see that happening, right? Well, anyway, it's just wrong anniversary. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this rumor has any credibility? I really don't know. I mean, part of me would like it to have credibility because it's funny, right? But I really genuinely don't know. So this next thing came across my desk yesterday, which I thought was funny. At the Film and Comic Con Collectorama, you can get, oh, this sounds good, a picture with 4 doctors, right? £185. Bit pricey, but you know, I mean, you're surrounded by. Who will be the 4 doctors? You've got Tom Baker, Colin Baker, Peter Davison, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, David Tennant, Capaldi, Matt Smith. Okay, so it's unlikely it's Capaldi and Matt Smith. So you're choosing from 6. Who are the 4 out of the 6? I don't know. Let's see what it is. Featuring Jodie Whittaker. Well, that's a big no. Joe Martin. Really? That's a bit of a bloody stretch, isn't it? Calling her a doctor? No. Colin Bacon or Sylvester McCoy? I don't know. Look, I mean, I wouldn't mind a picture with Colin Bacon or Sylvester McCoy. But, you know, like, what am I going to do with Jodie Whittaker and Joe Martin? I'm like, oh, look, hey, ladies, I think you should stand out in this picture, right? You know how you're going to stand out in this picture? We're going to put these bags on your head. Why? It's like the Doctor would totally do, and Jodie Whittaker will fall for that. Oh, he says that's what the Doctor would do. Look, I'll show you a picture of you. I'll do a drawing of her with the Doctor with her bag on her head and be like, whoa, Wiki Thump, people must love that. She will probably go for it, right? I can see that happening. Can you see that happening? Yes, I can see that happening. Fine. So that's a bit of rumour, bit of news. Let's move on to news. Next bit of news is, I think, a good bit of news, quite frankly. I ran this story early in the week. Rose Ayling-Ellis denies Doctor Who rumours but calls it a great job. Well, you're right. Now, I had a bit of a voyage of discovery with Rose Ayling-Ellis. And I first saw her, I'm like, wait a minute. She's attractive, youngish, shaggable. I mean, you know, with consent, obviously. I mean, it's so crazy you gotta say that nowadays. You know, young lady. It seems very, very traditional. I mean, I have to say this, most Doctor Who companions I'm not that turned on by, which is weird, because they're all very, 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 very pretty. I mean, like, Freema Agyeman, just stunning. Not turned on by her at all, right? Not at all. Going from the modern companions, it's still got me Catherine Tahe, and I'm not sure if that's a prize she holds up, you know, very, very highly. But, you know, and then the classic companions, it's really, I mean, like, going through will be, Victoria Waterfield, obviously, bit of Deborah Watling action, and Nicola Bryant. I don't know. Yeah, although they're all very pretty, right? So I think she fits that mold of being quite pretty. Doesn't really do it for me, right? But then I found out live on air that she was deaf, and God bless her. I'm nothing against casting people with disabilities. However, it's very hard to do that if it's coming from some kind of inclusivity edict without the stories suffering, like the inclusion of Hebe in the Big Finish stories. I think is probably following the BBC guidelines for inclusivity, right? For having more handicapped people involved. And I think they've probably done the best with it. I mean, Rachel Madley is a fine actress. I mean, I thought she was great in Years and Years. But I listened to the one episode they gave out for free, and they couldn't really do enough to make it work, right? Especially a wheelchair-bound companion on audio, right? Because on video it works because you can have all the rest of a personality show, and she just happens to be in a wheelchair. But when it's on audio, it's very hard to get all that visual communication in, right? So it feels very much like tokenism, which is what it feels like in the Hebe event, which is why I'm not buying it. Which I feel bad that I'm not buying it, but I'm not buying it, right? I'm not enjoying it. Interestingly enough, though, okay, this really surprised me. Apparently, Liv and Tanya, the lesbian transgender couple, one's transgender, one's I don't know. See, I always get confused at this point, right? Liv is it Liv or Livchenko, played by what's her name from Spooks, who always looks upset, always looks like she swallowed a wasp now, like always not so happy. Is a biological female who's in a relationship, who's stunning brave woman from the future, who's in a relationship with Tanya, who is a completely a woman, 100%. Is a woman. YouTube, I will never say she's not a woman until you lift that ban from us. I would not say that she's not a woman, and she has a penis, right? So I don't know. But so I stopped listening when they were introduced. That's where I got out the Eighth Doctor range. I was like, leave me alone. It feels like you're trying to convert me to your weird religion. But I knew it because a lot of people said, I agree with you, I'm not buying it either, right? So that's how I gauge if something's successful or not. But apparently, they are very popular, right? They are very popular. Go figure. Okay, go figure. But anyway, back to Rose Ailing Ellis. I watched clips of her from EastEnders, and that might not, and a bit of her on a talk show. That's not a fair audition piece, but what I saw didn't really. I mean, look, the EastEnders clip was really cringy because like she meets this hunky guy who she signs at something rude, and he lets her know he's able to read sign language. He's like, "Are you deaf?" And he goes, "No, my boyfriend is." I mean, like obviously, right? It's. I mean, really, I just don't understand. I like, you're able to be gay really up until 2015, maybe 2017, with there being, as far as I could see, not being a gay person, so I don't know, without there being 50% of the people on TV also being gay, right? Like these who's that, Warren Brown, is that him? The guy who was in Luther, who's in the Big Finish unit stuff, was also in an episode of Jodie Whittaker, Doctor who was just randomly gay. And I'm like, he's not gay. He doesn't straight. Although my gaydar is the worst ever, right? The absolute worst ever. There's a guy I was in Pinnacle Ceremony with, and it was like, look, okay, being gay isn't really green lit in the ultra orthodox religious world. The Bible kind of looks down upon that, which is why I think most gay people aren't that religious. Anyway. So I was in rabbinical ceremony with him. Then years later on Facebook, I see he's married to a bloke, and he's very rich. He's very rich, and he's adopted daughters. So they seem perfectly happy, perfectly lovely, like. But I had no gaydar at all, like zero. So my gaydar's awful, right? Absolutely awful. But anyway, back to Rose. She was so she was rumored to be the companion. And I saw her, and it was it was average EastEnders acting, right? It wasn't anything, you know. It wasn't anything special, right? It wasn't anything. It was just standard act. Maybe she's a great actress. Maybe Russell Davies could write a character that can get over can you now say handicap? Because her speech wasn't very good. Her speech was a bit like, "What's that? What? And yeah, what's she gonna do when she meets a Dalek?" It just seems stupid to me. Right, Dalek doesn't have any hands. Okay, can't sign. Doesn't have any lips to read. Just got flashing lights. Right, and if you're in the Cushing movies, they just at the beginning of the first one, they just flash randomly for no reason. It's awfully, it's gonna be surprising. Anyway, so apparently she's not the companion. She says the actor isn't joining the Team TARDIS despite speculation. I would think it's strange, don't you, that if if a woman has a penis, they can be called an actress, but if their woman doesn't have a penis, they're only an actor. It's one of the strange things of our times that we live in. Rose Ayling-Ellis has debunked the rumour claiming that she is joining Doctor Who as a companion to the Shooting Atlas 14th Doctor, which started to gain momentum earlier this week. I'm very glad about this, right? I am very, very glad that this isn't happening. Again, not because I want to see handicapped erasure, right? I can't see a way of them doing it without it detracting from the entertainment, right? I want to see Shooty and whoever it is running up and down corridors and having fun. And I want it to be fun, okay? Basically, that's what I want. Fun. Lots and lots of fun, right? That's something that Doctor Who hasn't been for a long time. Fun, right? And I think we're going to get that, right? I do think we're going to get that. But if she was a companion, it just seems like they're making a point, and I don't need anybody to make a point to me, right? I don't need that. The Rising Star surprised some earlier this month when she announced her imminent departure from soap opera EastEnders, where she starred as Frankie Lewis since 2020. When Ayling-Ellis did not immediately state her next project would be after fans noticed that she'd begun following Gatwa returning showrunner Rusty Davis and casting Andy Pryor on Instagram. Speculation grew that she might have a spot on Tarzan. I can see she would be in an episode, and I think they can pull it off for an episode. But the same thing with Yasmin Finney. I don't see how they're going to be able to make her into the companion. I don't think she is. I don't think how she's going to be able to be the companion without it being about her being trans. And I don't want to see a show about her being trans. I want to see a show about a Time Lord running up and down bloody corridors. It's not freaking rocket science now, is it? The idea was greeted with enthusiasm online, but alas, Ayling-Ellis has now said there's no truth to it. It's greeted with enthusiasm online because people are idiots. People don't think things through, right? That's really, people think about things in a very, very, very two-dimensional way. Like, take the trans issue, for example, right? They say that if you're trans and you're not able to come out, you're more prone to kill yourself. So there's a real push to make people to make it easier for people to become trans, right? Then if you point out, but wait a minute, what if you're getting people who aren't trans, convincing them that they are trans, and they go through surgery and then they're suicidal, right? Which we see happen. There's Reddit forums with like 40,000 strong plus of detransitioners, all of which are saying they're suicidal after having double bloody mastectomies, right? I think it's reasonably evil to prey on young girls and go, oh, you're feeling a bit awkward, are you, with puberty? Maybe you want to cut your tits off. Maybe that'll be the solution, right? But if you oppose it, you go, I want good thing. I want good thing, or people not killing themselves. Why you want bad thing? You want bad thing. You bad. I'm good. And that's the stupidity of the way they think about it. So they don't think about how this would work on TV. No, they just think, I want good thing. I want representation. I want good thing. You don't want good thing. You thought for good thing and it came out bad. You want bad thing. You bad idiots. I think also which started on Twitter and just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's everywhere. Look, that's Doctor Who, baby. That's the thing. You do anything with Doctor Who, it goes everywhere. Still, I other than not being able to talk properly, I think she would have been fine. Just like that, but with the power of speech, Russell, okay? That's not to say Aileen Ellis wouldn't be interested in joining the long-running show. However, she added, it sounds like a great job. It does sound like really... being on a Rusty Davis drama, which has got billions of dollars poured into it, it's high profile. That sounds like being a great job. How'd you work that out? Really? You worked that out all by yourself? That's really, really impressive. It said the actor announced she's currently working on a new BBC documentary called Signs for Change, which explores the daily challenges and discrimination and barriers faced by deaf. Fuck off. Okay? We all experience shit in our lives, okay? No one has a monopoly on suffering. I don't think you've experienced much discrimination. And the reason I think that is because I've heard bullshit about discrimination somewhat relentlessly for years and years and years and years. Like Lenny Henry talks about discrimination, which I tend to agree somewhat more. However, how discriminated against him could he possibly be when he had a sparkling career of incredible success? You know, it's not like, he didn't like come out in the 2010s. By the way, you should know, I'm actually black. We all knew, right? Did anybody have trouble with you doing David Bellamy when you being black? No. And speaking as the audience for that in Tiswas, no, we all freaking loved it, right? It was just kind of fun that you were black, right? It was like, oh, look, David Bemery's black now. That's kind of fun, right? It didn't matter, right? It didn't freaking matter. Now, I always say one of the biggest tragedies, and it seems so stupid, but it really is one of the biggest tragedies that I think we've experienced as a culture is when Frank Azaria stopped doing the voice of Apu on The Simpsons. Why is that such a tragedy, right? Because when he did the voice of Apu on The Simpsons, he was an American making fun of themselves, right? An American making fun of Americans, right? That's what he was. Because Apu was American and Frank Azaria was American. Now there's all this insane racist tribalism and it's disgusting, right? Absolutely disgusting. So next we get a bit of a Chris Chibnall news story. How do we know it's Chris Chibnall news story? It's boring. That's why I believe them putting the clothes on, you know, in the Centenary special, right? Putting on a bow tie or Tom Baker's scarf, right? I believe that over them turning up. I don't think they went back to refilm anything, right? Unless Peter Davison gets paid to be in a production, right? And then he goes, oh, actually, I'd rather not. They're not going to reshoot him and take him out. It's just stupid. I mean, really? BBC confirms which month Doctor Who Centenary special we're on. It's October. I think it's October 18th. I can't. Yeah. How old is this news? I know the actual freaking date and I've forgotten it because I don't really care and I don't want to get through it. Oh, God help me. God help me. I did Orphan 55 last night on my live stream. That was bloody painful. Charlotte Moore, BBC's Chief Content Officer, and frankly, that you have things called Chief Content Officer is just like a searing indictment of the stupidity of the age we live in. Says, Geordie Whittaker's final episode will air as part of the week of celebrations. Boy, that's going to be an embarrassing week for the BBC. I mean, here's the thing. At the BBC, they know it sucked. They know it tanked. They know it's failed, right? They see the data the same as we do. They've seen the rating. They know that it's failed, right? And they know people hate it. Same with EastEnders, right? It used to be their flagship. Now it gets, 2 million viewers, if they're lucky? Speaking at Edinburgh's International TV Festival, Charlotte Moore, the BBC's Chief Content Officer, announced that the episode would air as part of the... and a trailer, maybe? No. Part of the week of specials celebrating BBC's 100th birthday. Man, 100 years, and how they screwed up. We've got a week celebrating our centenary in October, where we'll have some specials, more. We got Doctor Who Centenary special, press for teasers about the episode. Moore refused to divulge any details. She said, oh, it's shit, right? It's shit, but we're not allowed to tell you that. but the doctors aren't in it. Press for teasers about the episode, refused to give, I can't tell you anything about that. She also reinforced the upcoming special episodes of Strictly Come Dancing, Antiques Roadshow, The One Show, and the celebrated week of look at what the BBC means for the future, launching new shows. BBC is just, forget it. It's destroyed itself. It really has. It's chosen to just to blow itself up rather than be a viable ongoing concern over this insane ideology. So we know the Master Sash Demands returning along with Daleks and Cybermen, including Ashdad, Patrick O'Kane. He was a good idea. There's a lot of good ideas just pissed on in the current Doctor Who, right? Speaking of pissing on current Doctor Who, one of the biggest cheerleaders of that used to be Bleeding Cool, because we live in a very tribal life, a tribal reality. Not so more anymore. Now Rusty Davis is back. They can so happily throw it under the bus, which is what they do here. So Doctor Who Flux, wasting Whittaker. Martin was the season's biggest fail. Which one? Wasting Whittaker and Martin was the season's biggest fail? Let's have a look. The BBC had just started scraping the barrel for another clip video for Doctor Who. This time calling the part of Flux with 2 minutes in it. That's possibly one of the worst two sequences in the entire season. Bloody hell. And it wasn't a good season. It featured the promised return of Jo Martin as the Lost Doctor. I thought she was the Fugitive Doctor. And completely wastes her in the most boring flashback sequence possible. Well, again, boring. That's a good way of describing Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. It is boring. Okay, but I don't know why we're talking about this. Doctor Who Flux has been an utter waste of resources of everything. And listen, the BBC knew the data. They knew the data of how much this had failed before they commissioned Flux. Idiots that they were. What they should have done, if they had any sense, this is what they should have done. They should have sat Chibnall down and said, listen, mate, didn't work out. What can we say? We have to salvage something. We need a good writer running it, but we're going to let you stay on, stay on so you can save face. Jodie Whittaker's just been miscast. I think Jo Martin was probably a better bet. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to take on a real writer, right? Maybe Paul Cornell, and make him head writer. And you'll write a little bit too, but whatever. He'll be head writer, and you're just going to do a season of episodic seasons of Jo Martin Doctor Who stories, and then you're going to have one story at the end with Jodie Whittaker, and you can tie everything up. And we're going to get ratings, and you're going to claim victory, right? That's what you're going to do. But the people at the BBC are idiots, are absolute idiots, and more than they're idiots, they just don't want to admit they're wrong. And they were wrong with Chris Chibnall, and they were wrong with Jodie Whittaker, right? And they were wrong with the ideology pushing them. So Doctor Who Flux have been out of waste of resources of everything, of both Jodie Whittaker and Jo Martin. Chibnall had two fantastic actors. Where? Who are the Doctor? No, he didn't. He had a bad one and one maybe good, seemed pretty mediocre to me, and does nothing with them. Well, because he can't do anything with them because he doesn't know what to do. The show was horribly shortchanged, both Jodie Whittaker and Jo Martin, the former playing the canonical female that's also LBGTQ. Well, how do you know? I don't think all could have been that the first woman of color to play the Doctor. So this is why they're pissed off. Not because they made shit Doctor Who, but they made shit Doctor Who with people who were marginalised. Like somebody they could say is on the progressive track, a black woman and a gay woman, right? That not even they were. I mean, well. Jo Martin is black, I assume. I don't think she blacks up every morning. That would be a weird choice. Like, she wakes up a white lady and says, oh, I better get ready for work. Like, that would be strange. Why would you do that? But wouldn't it be fun if she does? That first woman of colour to play the Doctor, and Doctor Who failed to capitalise on both. They don't team up. They should have been a 2-Doctor team up episode. Considering, I mean, I'm assuming that's what they're doing with the Centenary special, which I heard a rumor is called Hyde. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Was it? They don't team up. They should have been a 2-Doctor team up special. Whittaker and Martin had great chemistry together as bickering doctors on the previous Future of the Jadoon, though they didn't. Instead, It's just 8 minutes of the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, stepping into a flashback of a forgotten history, settling it into the Doctor as part of a space SWAT team. Yeah, how did Chris Chibnall open up Doctor Who for the stunning and brave new age? How did he do it? What was his great plan to make it contemporary? He made it boring, bog standard 2020 sci-fi. A black woman with a large gun snarling, right? Which is everything. No innovation. Innovation, is that a word? Close enough. No charm whatsoever. It's one of the most boring tropes you could have chosen in science fiction. Oh, look at that, we agree. And it was both Doctors just talking at each other, explaining the plot in a talk. Then they meet the bad guys who start explaining the plot too. Yeah, well, it's Chris Chibnall. That's how he writes. Not very well. Watching this whole sequence on its own just highlights how much worse it is. It's an abject lesson on how not to write a screenplay. It really is. It's basically a radio play where everything explained via dialogue, or none of it would make any sense whatsoever. Even then, the dialogue is full of pseudoscience and gobbledygook, so it doesn't make any sense anyway. Screenwriters are taught to show, not tell, because the motives of television and visual mediums throughout Flux. Because the television is our visual medium. Throughout Flux, Chibnall's scripts both show and tell and fell miserably at both. Sorry. He's showing and telling us everything, and none of it makes any sense or matters. The baddies are holding innocents hostage. We don't see them. We don't feel nothing when he kills them. We don't feel anything when he kills them, I think he wanted to say. The Doctor explains she's tricked the baddies and they act all shocked, and we don't see exactly how. So how can we care? We don't. That's the bottom line. We just don't. We're not writing this to beat up Chibnall, right? Sounds like it to me, mate. There are major storytelling lessons to learn here. If you're a student of learning these scripts, watch my breakdowns of the episodes, right? My deep dive reviews, because you really see the malfeasance, the absolute failure that goes into it. It's breathtaking. If you're a student of learning to write scripts, the BBC has perhaps inadvertently provided a valuable lesson here in showing us how not to tell a story. If you're a fan and enjoyed Flux, enjoying this clip, we envy you for being able to enjoy it. I mean, listen, there are many people who have experienced like horrible head injuries. Right? That would explain why. Chibnall has said the whole season of Doctor Who was nearly cancelled because of COVID, but managed to get it into production. They should have kept it cancelled. But then it was a logistic victory to have this creative defeat snatched out of it. We went from being grateful to getting Doctor Who to the dawning horror at this season as a mind-numbingly mediocre. It's the best he's done. I think they're being cruel. I think this is absolutely the best he's done, and it was shit. Okay, you can't call it all the other stuff he's done shit because you said it was the best as ever. It was the best he's done. Chibnall has turned Doctor Who into exactly the show that decades of its haters had said it would. Incoherent, pseudo-sci-fi nonsense. Doctor Who Flux is streaming on HBO Max if you fancy shooting yourself. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Don't shoot yourselves, kids. That's a bad idea. Ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.